Okay, everybody, so we just got off watching Glee's Rocky Horror, and it was awful. I love Glee, but they ruined it.
I am filled with bile and hate. I am...
Where should we start
angry.
with the problems of this? Where should we start with the problems?
I want to just, talk about, how much pain I went through at the very end.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll get there.
Because I'm still feeling it. I'm still feeling a visceral reaction.
I think we need to go through this in order to...
Yeah.
We need to go through this.
This is a coping mechanism, this video.
This is
cleansing ourselves.
So first of all,
yes.
They butchered every song.
Yes.
Every song was completely butchered.
And see, I think I'm going to get a lot of flack from you, too, because I actually like that they didn't put Kurt as Frankenfurter.
Yeah. Ooh, they could have put Puck, or Will, or John Stamos in the Frankenfurter get-up. Yes!
I would have been down with a girl as Frankenfurter if it had been someone that was, openly sexual.
Yeah.
So,
Santana. Seriously.
Or,
Santana would have been great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Or, even Sue Sylvester would have been, an incredible...
That would have been amazing!
If they wanted to be unexpected, that would have been, out of the ballpark.
They didn't want to play with it.
No, they wanted to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you didn't see it, Mercedes, Mercedes, the black girl,
jazz hands,
got cast as Frankenfurter, and she turned Sweet Transvestite into a gospel song.
Yeah.
And they changed it from it's just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania to I'm just a sweet transvestite from sensational Transylvania
because transsexuality is too controversial. And I'd like to make a direct address to the producers of Glee. A woman dressing as a woman is not a transsexual.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is, I mean...
Yeah.
What?
Okay, if you dressed her up like Kurt's dad, then maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if she was...
in a trucker hat.
And she could have... there were ways that Mercedes being Frankenfurter could have worked.
But then they turned it into a gospel song, and then they gutted the song by taking out essential words.
Yeah.
They just gutted it. They took out essential lyrics, and I likened this, and I told them this, and they kind of liked it. I said it was those asshole, preppy kids in school that were always the cool ones doing Rocky because it's chic. Not because they actually get it, because they're Rocky was really important to my high school life, and it was really important to my early college life, because it's for outcasts. It's for the people that aren't the cool, chic, ripped jock assholes. Well, and cheerleaders.
The point that Kenna made was that it was the cool kids who don't think they're cool.
Right.
These kids are the ones that they have a group of people they hang out with. In their own little world they're cool. And they may not be the cheerleaders, they may not be the jocks, but they are not the outcasts.
Yeah.
And during the first season they were outcasts a little bit, but now they're established, and it made my skin crawl.
In any case, this Rocky Horror is not a movie about outcasts. They danced around the whole issue of sexuality the entire time. It was just this magical, grease dance. They just oiled up the floor so that, when it just came around time to, talk about sex, zoop, suddenly everybody was out of the room and, not talking about sex.
Yeah, it was that weird... There was also this weird transition where Will and God, I just forgot her name. Emma were just sitting there talking, and I looked away from the screen for 1 second, and I come back, and Emma's ripping Will's shirt off and singing "Touch Me," right?
Which was brilliant.
It was really well done. The song was really well done, but there was no context. It didn't make sense why that even happened.
I would have loved that if it was between Emma and Dr. Carl, because Emma is loyal to Dr. Carl.
And because Dr. Carl is John Stamos.
Yes, I think we all can get behind John Stamos' shirt getting ripped off.
John Stamos' number was amazing.
Yes.
He did a really good Eddie.
I really loved Emma's rendition of Touch It, Touch It, Touch It.
Oh, it was good. It was just inappropriate and didn't fit. And having Brittany and Santana be Magenta and Columbia.
That was perfect.
That was really well done.
But it was really... there was no transition
There's good parts sprinkled in, but really overall, and the show had no context.
Yeah.
No.
We got a weird sub storyline where the kid who was playing Rocky, what's his name?
Sam
Sam feels is like bulimic and
uncomfortable.
fat.
Yeah,
Right.
Sam.
Even though he's
Apparently, Sam
ripped?
has an eating disorder or something, but they didn't really touch on that
It was
either.
like one line.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I felt fat in those little shorts, even though before he was like, look at my stomach.
And then he
I'm
pinches
sexy."
a little piece of skin and he's like, damn ranch Doritos.
Seriously, I mean,
Like, what?
Like, haha. believe me.
Oh, and then the nail in the coffin. The absolute worst thing of the episode was how badly they butchered Time Warp.
yes.
What did you say about Time Warp? What was it? It was that it was so...
The room was silent.
We were dead silent while we were watching it.
We were all. I mean, we'd all already sort of given up the ghost on this episode.
Yeah,
We were. I mean, personally, I felt like my soul had been ripped out by this
They
episode.
did Time Warp as a closing number.
Yeah.
So, which it's not. It's kind of like this entrance into
Yeah.
this magic world.
It's introducing everyone to the cool characters they're
Yeah.
gonna be with.
And every single character that's dancing or that has a line, instead of being in their costume, like they include Rocky and
Yeah, and Rocky's is
and
covered
there's-
up on the chest for the first time in the episode.
yes.
And then Mercedes,
Was
as
wearing-
Frankfurter,
she
is
was
wearing a smock.
She was wearing. See, the smock is relevant. Rocky wasn't in the Time Warp in
Yeah.
that
And neither was Frankenfurter.
original.
Frankenfurter
No,
wasn't in the Time Warp
Frankenfurter
either.
wasn't introduced to the into it yet. The smock is from the
From
scene
later, when he revives
when
Rocky.
they're bringing Rocky in. But I guess they only had like a certain amount of screen time where they could actually have Mercedes in a corset because
For
some reason?
that's. I mean,
That's
despite the fact that
really
she was
weird.
wearing a fishnet shirt too,
Yeah.
having her in a
But
corset
here's the thing,
was too
thing.
sexual.
In the context of the episode, right, the costume changes make no sense.
Yeah.
Because they're playing to an empty theater.
yeah, seriously.
So why are they covering up the
Right.
costumes?
Why do they have weird characters in the Time Warp if they're doing, an actual performance?
Yeah.
That's the premise, is that they're doing a performance for themselves.
and
And they just have everybody on
And there's two
stage
magentas and two
completely
Columbias.
This-
and-
up and
This
very-
episode did nothing. There was no character development. There was no progress in the plot of the story of the series. Like, this episode, you could take it out and no one would know.
And here's the thing, it had so much potential if they would have had the balls to do it.
You know what it kind of felt like? It felt like that they had each individual number written out, but they didn't really have a story to connect them.
Well, I think that's the problem with Glee in general now.
Yeah.
Because in the first season, that first half, the first 2/3 of the first season,
Right.
before they found out they were getting extended, all the songs were part of they didn't stop to do the music video thing.
No.
It just progressed the story. It was
Yeah,
part of the story.
It was a musical.
And there were no real theme episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And now it's all about the themes and it's just setting up the songs to
It's
set up the songs.
I mean,
Right.
it was there were some really bizarre situations in the first season. That was sort of one of the drawing points of it, was the fact that and
you didn't know what
Will's
song
wife
they
was
were going to
pretending
do.
to be pregnant
Yeah.
and all of this craziness. But now it's like, why do we care?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no overarching plot in this season. And then they just go butcher something that means a lot to a lot of people, and they don't
Seriously,
do it
a lot
justice.
a lot of people who really loved Glee. I mean,
And they tease us with Mike Chang as Frankenfurter, and they tease us with Will as Rocky, and we don't even see them in the costumes.
this entire episode was a giant cock block.
No cock!
None whatsoever.
Oh,
Ugh.
no cock at all. No, it was just awful. And then they turned Sweet Transvestite into a gospel song, which is the antithesis of Rocky Horror. I hope this is not anyone's first experience with Rocky Horror, because
If
it's
you haven't
nothing
seen
like
Rocky
that.
Horror,
Please see
and
it, oh
yes,
God.
if you haven't seen Rocky Horror and you just saw the Glee episode, please go watch
Okay,
Rocky
find a
Horror.
couple friends who have seen it, even if you can't get to a theater to see it. Just find a couple friends who can put it in context and enjoy Rocky Horror for what it is.
Well, they do
Yeah.
try to tell you that, they are editing things out, but they always say it's adult, and they kind of use very vague terms. What they're really editing out is a lot of sex and a lot of interesting
and a lot of
sexual
social
situations.
commentary
A lot
and
of social
subcontext.
And these outcasts are sexual outcasts. Like, this isn't just about, like, nerds who play too much D&D and so aren't accepted at the football team. Yes. Like, this is about sex. And, you know, to take that out and the fact, ignore it.
And they could have done the closing number from Rocky, which would have really fit the episode. Yeah. The closing number, Frankenfurter's closing number, would have really fit the episode.
Yeah, because this entire episode was an entire disappointment. And one of the things about Rocky Horror is that in the end, you're not really content. Because, I mean, the main characters have died. This cool person that you've been introduced to has died. And
Spoiler alert!
Sorry, spoilers! Spoilers!
Everyone's dead!
It doesn't matter at this
it's
point.
like
Rocky
Rent.
Horror
Everybody's dead.
Yeah, everyone dies at the end of Rent. No one survives.
Everybody got AIDS and shit.
Okay. Here's just as a closing thing. The ending number to the actual Rocky Horror Show is Frankenfurter talking about how he is outcast because of his sexuality.
Yes.
And how he had to flee his planet because of his sexuality.
And the way Tim Curry presents it is heartbreaking. So I mean, you spent this entire movie being thrown for a loop and having these crazy things flying at your face. And then you realize that you've really grown attached to this character.
And then he dies. He's shot to death. Spoiler alert!
He's shot to death and crushed by a giant Eiffel Tower.
Okay. But, RKO radio tower.
But it's really sweet.
Yeah. But it is really sweet.
Yeah. So you've. This is not how you should be introduced to Rocky Horror.
No.
So we're gonna sign off, and I'm gonna put this on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm Mike. I'm Mike.
Morgan.
Oh, Kenna.
And over here is my girlfriend, Rebecca, who did not want to be in the video.
Hi,
Rebecca!
Hi, Rebecca!
I hate you all.
Bye, guys. See you next time a TV show pisses us off.